Hello and welcome to everybody. I've got a couple of presentations that I'm working on, which I'll release this coming week. Things that I think are really, really important for us all to at least consider. But this particular question has popped up from quite a number of people. So this little quick presentation is my attempt to try and answer this question. Trump got elected. When Trump got elected, I thought cryptos were supposed to go up in price. This thought, this idea, this notion was widely pumped out over the media. You could not have avoided what everybody believed was about to happen, particularly if Trump was elected, and as we know, he did get elected. So this is the crypto market cap as it was when Trump was elected. This is what it was when he was actually inaugurated some months later, a couple of months later. So you can see that those predictions did occur. There was a 64% growth in the market cap, and $1.46 trillion was added to the crypto market cap. So in fact, that did actually occur. And hopefully, people who are subscribers to this channel got a little piece of that. I know that certainly I did, and it was nice. But this is the situation that was found on December the 10th, that 70%, just under 70% of tokens were then below the price that they were on the date of the US election. So that leads to a pretty obvious question of what happened. Was there? Yes, there was certainly that rush where money flooded into the market on the back of the Trump election. But what happened after that? Well, what happened is a thing called global liquidity, and it dropped. So let's just have a look at that and the impact of that. Global liquidity refers to the flow of financial capital through the world markets that can be used for asset purchases in the financial economy and investments, trade and consumption in the industrial economies. It also reflects the ease in which assets can be converted into cash. Now, this is from Cross-Border Capital. They're a company that dedicate themselves to the review and study and the monitoring of global liquidity. They estimate that global liquidity sits at around $175 trillion, or two-thirds, and that's two-thirds bigger than world gross domestic product. So anything that happens to that metric is going to impact the world. Now, again, they look at what are the systematic influences on the price of Bitcoin. Now, they have various things, but the single biggest item is global liquidity. 40.7% of the price of Bitcoin comes from global liquidity. So if that drops, and from a flow, I'm extending from that influence on Bitcoin, I'm suggesting, and I believe it does, extend into the crypto market in general. Just a little note on liquidity. A typical liquidity cycle lasts 5 to 6 years from trough to trough. According to Cross-Border Capital, we are some 15 months into the current upturn. On that basis, now this was written in 2024, on that basis we expect liquidity levels to rise through this next year and peak in 2025. According to further in the article I was reviewing to make this presentation, according to extrapolated data, the global liquidity cycle should peak around September 2025. So that's an interesting little side piece of information that we should all, I am now learning. I know that we spot trade, or I spot trade, which is the need for the market to be an upward moving market. But I need to be starting to learn how I'm going to spot trade in a downward moving market, how I can trade on a retrace, how I can identify a retrace, what I need to learn. So this is a really good time while we've got this upward moving cycle to educate ourselves on how we're going to do what we do once that cycle peaks. This is just the information that cross-border show to give you the correlation between global liquidity and gold and crypto. There's a strong belief that the price of gold and the crypto market are pretty much tied at the hip. And so global liquidity affects both of them in a very, very similar way. Just a little bit now specifically looking at global liquidity in Bitcoin. The Bitcoin cycle low was in November 2022. And since then, the returns have been unmatched by any other major asset. That's a significant statement. Unmatched by any other major asset. The sideways price action that has been dominated for most of 2024 has resolved to the upside as global liquidity conditions continue to improve. That's a good thing for us to be aware of. Here's from the Financial Times. This shows the cycle, the global liquidity cycle on its normal 65-month turnaround. And the dark line shows what's actually happened with global liquidity. So you can see it does actually flow very, very close, or very, very similar to the projected. So you can see towards the end of that slide, just above the 2024, that it is projected to go up, and that's the direction that it has begun to go. So that, I hope, puts a bit of a smile on your face, at least maybe answers the question, makes things a little bit easy for you to understand. And I just want to move on, just while I have got the chance to do it, just to give a bit of crypto news, that when you add the news that I'm just about to share to the increasing in global liquidity, it should make us feel pretty comfortable with what we're doing. This is a few weeks old now, but Binance and the USC have filed a joint motion to pause the case that the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission, had against Binance. And that's because there is new players in town, and the whole issue that the SEC had against Binance may actually just vanish. The appointment of Paul Atkins, or the nomination, should say, of Paul Atkins as the new SEC chairman. Now, he's going to be confirmed in March, but there doesn't seem to be any reason why he won't be. He was a member, he has been on the commission before. And he is a very pro getting rid of regulations that prevent and inhibit and restrict growth in the US. And so he is very, very dedicated to giving regulations and guidelines that people can actually follow. And if you listen to his discussions and you listen to the general chat, there's a lot of the crypto world is going to move from the regulatory oversight of the Security Exchange Commission, and they're going to move to the Commodities Future Trading Commission. Now, the CFTC in the US, they look after everything that is not a security. So they're looking at derivatives, which includes futures, options, swaps. And under the Judge Torres decision that came down in the Ripple case, where she said there is some instances where a crypto could be a security. There are other instances where it's not. Between these two bodies, the SEC and the CFTC, there is a crypto task force that is dedicated to giving very, very clear delineation between when is a crypto a security and when is it not. And a lot of cryptos are going to now come under the oversight of this body. And this body, this is the Trump nomination for this body, Brian Quintenz, and he is a massively pro-crypto person, head of policy at the world's biggest crypto fund. His fund's already invested in Ripple, Solana, and many others. He helped get the BTC and ETH ETFs approved, and he is an absolute legend and believer in the Web3 and the movement of digital assets. He is an absolute huge crypto bull. So that should put a lot of people also at rest, that there is going to be significant regulatory movements that's going to help the crypto industry moving forward. Now, I just want to talk as we wrap this up about this particular company in the world of finance. There are a few, BlackRock are just the biggest asset management company in the world. The corporation established itself as a powerhouse, holding a considerable influence in global financial markets. BlackRock is the world's largest asset manager with over $9 trillion in assets under management as of 2022. Update that to now, and BlackRock now has $11.5 trillion in AUMs, assets under management, as of 2024. So why that is important, and why I want to add that into this particular presentation, is BlackRock now holds an unheard of $60 billion worth of Bitcoin within its trusts and with its balance sheet. Recent data from Farsight Investors shows the Bitcoin ETFs have recently received a total of 188.7 million, with BlackRock alone getting 154.6 million, which is 81% of that net inflow. So if they're bringing $60 billion worth of Bitcoin in under their asset management scheme, that's something that should be something that we should be happy about and look forward to the movement of crypto moving forward. So with that, hopefully that will put a little bit of a smile on your face, a little bit of easing of your mind as to what's going on, why it's going on, what we need to look at to see the future of cryptos, and also understand the importance of getting suitably educated so we can take the best advantages as it occurs with us and our crypto trading.